Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Maggie. Today we are doing my August budget recap. So this is looking back to what my husband and I spent in the month of August, whether that's from our normal monthly budget or spending from savings. So we're going to cover that today. I'm going to pull a magic trick in the editing because I tried to film this yesterday. I had issues with the audio on the first half, but not the second half. So I'm going to refilm the first half today. So you're going to see my shirt change colors midway through. And that is because, yeah, I'm refilming this first part. So this is the layout here. I started last month including a kind of visual. I'm loving the visual. I like seeing kind of the breakdown of the percentages, plus the different colors are fun. So I like seeing this here, but we're going to go through the different categories. I'm going to write in what we spent and talk about each of the categories. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in. I've got my cheat sheet off to the side. So let's start with bills. So this is all of the recurring regular bills. So our HOA dues, the mortgages, the electric bills, subscriptions, all of that. And this month it was $42.38. The only special call out I have is we pay for our gas bill at the lake annually. We actually just recently had natural gas, like the line brought to the house. We haven't adopted any of our electric appliances or heat or anything yet. So it's basically like $10 and some change a month. So we just pay it for a whole year, and then I'll pay it again next August until we decide to do something with it. So yeah, the bills are taken care of there. For beauty, this month we spent $288. I got a facial, which was really nice, and then my husband got a haircut, and I bought just a couple of beauty products, one being a clarifying shampoo, kind of like one that would strip out chlorine, because I am back to swimming. Now that we're in the city, we have our gym membership, and I've been swimming a few mornings each week, so I want to make sure I had a good clarifying shampoo to really get that chlorine out of my hair, and so far it's been working well, so that was a good purchase. Next is donation. We didn't have any monetary donations this month. I do have a lot of things going to Goodwill though, like old clothes and homeware, things that we don't need. So I have been like donating physical things, but not anything monetarily. For gas, we spent $2.21. This is just regular gas for our vehicles. So my husband went to a networking event that was a couple hours away, so he drove there, and then we both drove from the lake down to the city. So we did a little bit more driving than normal, but we're still within. I try to stick to about $2.50 a month for gas, so we're right there. Next is gifts. I spent $177 on gifts. It was my husband's birthday month, so we celebrated him. He actually didn't want to make a big deal of it, so I ordered some caviar, and we had just a nice little caviar kind of tasting. A couple months ago, I bought him a funny card off of Etsy. That was only a few dollars, but I already had that too, so that was nice. Just kind of a quiet night in. Again, he didn't really want to make a fuss about it. For groceries, we spent $927. So being that we moved from the lake to the city, I did pack up quite a bit of what was in our pantry and etc. But when I got here to the city, I had to clean out like the cabinets and just, make it fresh. So there was quite a bit of condiments and things that I tossed. So I bought, restocked that, some spices, that type of thing. Our budget for groceries is $1,000 a month. We try to eat at home most days of the week. Being that we're in the city, we have so many different restaurants available to us, so we've been trying to limit it to only eating out like twice a week, and then trying to eat at home like all of the other time, obviously. So anyway, the other thing is that we have kind of like fancier grocery stores. Like we have our standard Cub and Aldi, which is great, and then we have like Lund's and Byerly's or Kowalski's, which are kind of like fancier grocery stores. So we've been going there just for a couple of like specialty cheeses or like a fancier cut of meat that we're going to grill at home. So we have been dabbling there, but we're not doing our normal day-to-day shopping there. It's just too expensive. And then the last one on this one is health. We spent $54. That was on a prescription. We just had to pick up quick for like a quick round of antibiotics for my husband. So no big deal there. Pretty easy. So moving over here, home, and home took up the majority of our spending this month. So for home, we spent $4,520 this month. This was primarily the second half of our mini split air conditioning. So if you caught last month, we had to replace the air conditioning in both of our homes, which was a very expensive summer. So I'm happy that it's behind us, but we have a mini split installed at the lake, and how it worked is we paid for half when we had the consult, and then we paid for the other half after install. So they did install at the beginning of the month of August, so that second half was due. And then the other items in here are all for basically getting the city here back to kind of like livable. So we did a deep clean. I inherited a grill from the previous owners, and I've owned the city townhome for 7 years. So I've had this grill sitting outside, never used it, had a cover on it, but it was pretty well rusted out. So we bought some cleaning supplies. We got rid of all the grates and things inside that were rusted and bought new like replacement pieces. And now it's good to go, which is really great because we love grilling. And then I also bought an air fryer and just, kind of like smaller things like I need more trash bags, whatever. So just a lot of home purchases. But again, most of it was the second half of the air conditioning. And now the air conditioning saga is officially behind us, which is really good. It took a hit on our savings account this year, but I'm really glad that we did it because now everything's under warranty and it's all new and shouldn't be an issue for quite a while. Next is Miko. Miko's our cat, and we spent $338 on him this month. So this was for a litter, and then my cat is diabetic, so he has a daily pill that he takes. So we don't do insulin shots for him, but we do this pill called Bexacat, and I buy the 90-day supply, so I had to buy that again in August. So that's the majority of that, and then, like I said, just a little bit of litter. For miscellaneous, we spent $58, and this was honestly all on parking in Minneapolis. So we went downtown for dinner a couple of times and paid for parking, and then I met a friend for brunch and paid for parking. So it's basically just been parking, which it is what it is. Okay, spending. This is all personal spending. So this includes eating out, any sort of like clothing shopping, entertainment, that type of thing. So we spent $2,204. So one thing that I bought in the month of August was tickets to a live music concert event type thing in October. So because I bought them in August, it counts now, but in October it'll feel free, So I bought tickets to that. It's one of those like candlelight orchestra quartet things. I'm not sure if you've seen the advertisements, but it looks beautiful. So I'm excited for that. And then we've been eating out more frequently and at nicer places. So that's been more expensive. And then also my husband, I think I said this earlier, went to a networking event for a couple of nights. So he used hotel points to stay for free, but was pretty much eating out that whole time. So that was a portion of that eating out category too. So yeah, those are the big ones. For travel, we didn't spend anything this month, so nothing to report there. And then for vehicles, we spent $377. I had my annual car registration for the state of Minnesota, so that was, something I knew was coming, so I did that. And my husband had a oil change on his truck. I actually do need to get an oil change on my SUV, so that'll be in September at some point, but otherwise our vehicles are in good shape. We're just holding on to them as long as you can because vehicles are so expensive these days. Both my husband and I bought our current vehicles in 2018, so we're holding on to them as long as we can and just trying to maintain them, which they're in great shape, so I'm not expecting them to have any issues, but knock on wood. Okay, so that brings me to the total. So this month we spent $9,656, which is less than last month, which is great, but still, quite a bit, especially with the home expenses. So I'm excited for those to drop because the AC stuff is finally done and like all paid for and taken care of. And I'm so grateful to be able to pay for that without going into debt. We did use our credit card to get the miles and points, but we paid off in full. So Anyway, that was the month of August. I'm really enjoying sharing these with you guys. So now we're going to cut to editing magic, and you'll see me in a green shirt going through my trackers and all of that. The first one here is called Margaret's Money. This is tracking my investments for retirement, etc. So really, I just color in these progress bars at the bottom. But this month, I had my normal 401k contribution, my employer match, my HSA, and then I put $100 in a brokerage account each month on just like an auto thing. So I'm just going to color in the progress bars. My goal for the year is to max out my 401k. It'll actually be the first year I do that, which is super exciting. And I'm really happy to be prioritizing, putting money away now for retirement. My husband is older than I am, but he has been, really firm with always prioritizing retirement too. So I'm really happy that we're doing that, and like it's kind of like a non-negotiable. Like we are in a financial position where we both can afford to max out, so we're doing that. So that is the update there. Next, we have our XP payoff. So this XP is our side-by-side vehicle. Originally, my goal was to pay it off this year, and then we changed our plans and moved to the city, which was not something we were planning for at the beginning of the year. So we're dropping the goal of trying to pay it off this year. We're just going to reacclimate in the city and figure out where we want to spend time. Does it make sense to keep the XP? I would really hope so. But again, we just are kind of in a year-long experimental phase. So I made the normal $600 payment, and I can color in the rest of this circle and then the first part of this one here. So we'll do that. And yeah, we'll just kind of, again, take it from there. There's a lot of things we're contemplating. So for example, if we decide that we do want to stay in the city, then it becomes a question, do we want to still go to the lake? And if we do want to still go to the lake, great. And then it's, do we want to stay where we are in the city? Like there's just so many things we could do. And we've decided to not do anything drastic for a year so that we can just really be clear and intentional with whatever next step it is. So we're jotting down all of our ideas, and we'll come back to them when we have a better idea. This is my last tracker. This is tracking the payoff of the mortgage for this city townhome. I, again, bought this place in 2018, so 7 years ago. My husband bought the lake cabin on his own before we met too. So anyway, I have been making one extra payment towards the mortgage principal each year. How I do that is I take what one payment is, divide it by 12, and then add that little bit onto each monthly payment. So this month, what I have written in is where I actually am. So for example, the printed number here for interest, I should have paid $441 in interest, but I only paid $418.20, so that feels really good. And then I should have only made a payment of $311 towards the actual principal balance, but because I'm paying extra, it's $395.71 this past month, so that was great. And I'm getting closer and closer. I'm at $418 and $395, and it's basically $1. It shifts each month. So I'm really, really excited for when all of a sudden the principal becomes more than the interest, like that break even point where then, a larger percentage goes to the principal than interest. So I'm not that far away. I mean, it's not going to happen next month, but it is really encouraging to see that. So anyway, my new balance for the mortgage is $129,110. So what I do is I come down and I highlight when I surpass that value. So 110 is lower than 264. So I'm going to highlight this one. But it is still 129, so the next number here is 128. So I can't cross this one off next. Usually I cross off one, and then a couple times a year I get to cross off two, and that's when you can see the snowball really, moving forward. So yeah, very exciting. Slow and steady wins the race. But yeah, I'm happy with the progress we've made, and that is all I have for you for August. Goals for September, just trying to kind of get into our routine. We will be going up to the lake for kind of like a long weekend. I do envision us going up to the lake probably, a few times this fall to enjoy the foliage, maybe get some fishing in still. So we're still between, but we have definitely moved, and set up the city townhome for us. So yeah, more to come. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks so much for watching. I hope August was a good financial month for you and you were able to work towards your different goals. If you want to share, would love to hear about it in the comment section what you are focused on financially. And with that, I'll see you guys in my next one. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.